Melissa here with me today. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Melissa's been a friend of mine for many years, and she just recently completed one of my mindfulness courses at Lotus Chiropractic Centre. And what I'd like to do, Melissa, is just share with the audience some of the things that you learnt by doing the course, and just a little bit about how your life was prior to coming to practice mindful awareness and that sort of thing. So would you like to just share a little bit about your history?
Yeah, definitely. I've had sort of ups and downs like everybody once you get to this stage of life, gone through, some health issues and things like that, which made me aware of how your emotions and your attitude can affect you physically. So I'd already been a little bit on the path over the years of a bit of self-awareness and things, but when I came to do the mindfulness course, I think I was really at that point then when I was really ready to take on being present.
So what was it for you, or what was happening in your life at the time that you decided to make that decision of coming and doing something differently for yourself?
Well, I'd had the last 2 years with a lot of upheaval, a marriage breakup, change of house, change of work situation, a lot of sort of turmoil going on that I was feeling quite down about, and I felt that my life was a bit out of control.
Well, that's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. And, as we've been friends for like years and everything, and I know you've been doing this for a long time, I just felt the time was right for me then. I think I was probably the most open to it then.
Which is great. So can you just share with us, when you came to do the course, some of the things that practiced by us, so a lot of the things that we talked about throughout the course, and then you went home and actually implemented some of those practices in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Can you just share some of the things that made a big transformation for you or a big impact on your life?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely some specific things that made a massive difference. Learning how to be present was a huge thing, and I actually put that into practice by practical things that you suggested. For example, in the morning when you have a shower, rather than having a million things going through your head, be aware of the water on your body, be aware of the smell of the soap, like all of that sort of stuff. That's just made a huge difference to kind of centering, becoming kind of more centered from the start of the day. Another massive thing that's made a huge difference is communication with my teenage daughter. One of the things, again, that you suggested was being engaged when you have a conversation with someone. You weren't actually necessarily talking about with your child. It was really with anybody, Don't be doing a million things. Give that person your attention. And I thought, I'm going to actually try that with my youngest daughter, and it's made a huge difference to her with communication. And I think out of all of it as well, the ability to be grateful, even if your situation isn't exactly how you think you'd like it to be. It's being able to really look around you and see, I've got so many wonderful things in my life. So,
So focusing on the good things in your life rather than the things that are going wrong, looking at what's actually going right. And just sharing, when you had the conversation with your daughter and you noticed it did change something, how did that make you feel at the time?
It was actually quite a wake-up call for me, because my daughter had said to me on many occasions, "You never listen to me, Mum." And I thought, well, I do listen to you. I listen to you while I'm cooking, I listen to you. But it actually was a great feeling, because it was almost like a breakthrough moment. Having lots of issues with a teenage daughter, I haven't known what to do, and I felt like I had more control over the situation again. So it was a really nice feeling to see how happy she was as well.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I take my hat off to you for going home and implementing these tools that because I just see so often when people start to practice being mindfully aware, things change for them. And it's often the small things that you do in your day-to-day life. When you start to become more aware of your own behaviour and your own patterns, you can change an unhealthy pattern into a healthier pattern by just being more aware. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. I really feel like after doing this, I feel like I've got more control over things, you know, and I also feel like I'm enjoying life more, because the thing is that I'm not in my head all the time, and when I do get in my head, I know how to kind of bring myself back to the present. So it's a much more quality life, having those tools, definitely. Apart from that, like the being present, another practical skill that I learned from you was to actually stop and like feel your body where you are. And you can do that by like you're driving along, and so you're thinking about a million things. I've got to do at work, and I've got to pick this up, groceries, but to actually stop and kind of get out of your head and like feel where you're sitting, like feel what your breathing's doing, all of that sort of stuff. That made a massive difference as well.
And these are a lot of the tools that we talk about in the mindfulness course. Is being able to practice daily, becoming more present and being more aware of yourself and noticing how you're feeling when you're practicing these things and skills. So Melissa's really implemented some of these tools in her day-to-day life and noticing the difference. And it's one of the things is, I guess, by doing a 6-week course, you're aware that it doesn't just change your life completely and everything's hunky-dory, but it's something that you're aware that you do have to continually keep practicing throughout your life. So I guess just coming to a real sense of awareness of what's going on in your day-to-day life, and if you are feeling a bit unbalanced or out of sorts, what you can do to kind of bring yourself back to the present moment and how that can really assist you throughout your day when you keep coming back. And do you find that?
Definitely. And one of the things that I really feel about that whole doing that course is it's like the best gift that you can give to yourself, because the thing is, like, we all go along just in our head, like it's just like we're on automatic pilot. It's like racing from one thing to another. It's almost like you're in some kind of a trance. And doing this course, like, it actually makes you live, like you're living, you're every day, like you're getting breath, you're breathing in the day sort of thing, rather than just kind of like trying to get through it. And the thing that I realised with it as well is that you realise after doing the course that you can be happy no matter what your circumstance, because there's always something to be grateful for.
Now, the course finished a little while ago, and I remember you saying when we were in the course, you mentioned about the change with your daughter and everything like that, and you also mentioned that you felt a little bit more confident in yourself as well, because you had other people in your life that could also be quite challenging for you, and because of seeing the result with your daughter, it made you feel as if you could actually do something differently with some other people that you may have been having challenges with. So looking at yourself, not in a bad way, but just looking at the way you've responded or reacted to things in the past, by doing something differently yourself, would you say that really does make a difference in your life?
It's definitely made a huge difference. Becoming self-aware, like learning it through the meditation and through the mindfulness, it actually makes you become like your best friend. So you actually learn how to think of yourself. You kind of learn how to put yourself in the equation, because you know who you are, So it's made a big difference with every interaction that I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So do you think that now that you know these skills and have these skills, do you think you can continue to practice and implement these things throughout your life, even though, life gets busy and sometimes we just forget to be aware. So just reminding yourself, I guess, to do these things on a daily basis. You know, practicing the little commas and full stops that we talk about, and just taking a breath and allowing yourself just to be still just for a minute or two, just to get more focused on what your outcome is, and just being more aware, I guess, of a sense of self, and finding that you can enjoy your life and not worry too much about what's going to happen in the future.
It's just all about being present, and that's what I've had to learn how to do to actually make my life better. It's not really a choice of doing it now, it's actually a habit,
which is awesome.
So I mean, I obviously get, you know, preoccupied with things and everything, but I know how to bring myself back now, and that's the difference, you know.
And do you find by knowing and having those skills in your life now that your relationships with other people seem to be better or more meaningful?
They're definitely better, because I'm really being myself now, and for a lot of years I really haven't even known who that was. So I'm very authentic with people now. So,
and I'm glad you just mentioned that, because I do hear a lot of people say that they kind of lose themselves, you know, and as a woman, you know, there's so many different roles or hats that we wear, being a mum and being a wife and being a work person, all of those sorts of things. We often lose the person we are because we're somebody else's wife or somebody else's mum or something like that. So I know it can be challenging at times. So for having just done a 6-week course, you've really done well to practice and the daily stuff, and to continue to practice. And I do believe that you're heading off to New York next week. So that's something that you probably wouldn't have considered doing a while ago, and now you're really stepping out and
I'm just being in the
enjoying
moment,
life and allowing
myself.
things to happen that you haven't happened before. So thank you so much, Melissa, for being with me today and sharing some of your story and just some of the differences that it's made to you, and just learning how to be more present and enjoying your journey. So Melissa's going off to New York and she's going to enjoy her journey there, I'm sure. So thanks again.
My pleasure, Chrissy. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.